All right, greetings, everyone. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Campus Connection. I am Jonathan Fletcher, and with me is my co-host Anesta Samuels, and we are here ready and waiting to go for this evening show. We're so very grateful that you would have decided to be with us this evening. It's such a privilege and a pleasure to be able to serve in this capacity week after week. And it's just going to be an amazing show. My co-host is having a bit of technical difficulties, but we'll get onto that as soon as possible. Cause I know it's a long time now. You guys don't hear us together, right? I don't even know how long it has been, but that you guys haven't heard us together. So I'm very happy that both of us are here this evening to serve you in this capacity. So if you're listening on the FM band, that's 101.1357 or 9. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening or watching us via the live stream at Love 101 FM Jamaica on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you so much for making it Campus Connection. We are so appreciative to being here with us this evening. And this evening, we're focusing on conflict resolution. And I know you just heard that, and you're probably saying to yourself, timely. Yes, I agree. This is very timely, very, very timely for us to be tackling a topic like this because of all the things that we've been hearing about in the news concerning what has been happening on our campuses. It's so very important that we speak about conflict resolution and the very importance of conflict resolution. Is it a case where we have to really ramp up, the different activities that we have going on concerning conflict resolution? These are some of the things that we want to look on this evening in this evening's show. And the question we want to ask is, what can schools do to ensure that persons can manage conflict resolution effectively? So we want you to chime in, so you can send us a WhatsApp message at 876-997-3125 or send us a message on Facebook or on YouTube to let us know what you think about, what can schools do to ensure that persons manage conflict resolution effectively. And before that, we of course have our education news and bulletin, and then we go straight into creative block with Miss Terry Stewart, operations and projects manager, and then we have Donnie Brown from UCC with I Chose Christ, and of course we go into our main segment speaking on the topic of conflict resolution, and we have Mrs. Tisha Nelson Watson, SCFSU Western Region Field Officer, and Miss Mishka Bowen, Mount Alvernia High School for Girls. And of course, we'll be also joined by Mrs. Dorian Allen Rainford, JTA President elect candidate for 2024 to 2025. So, we have a very interesting show planned and packaged for you, and we're very excited to have you be a part of that. So we're going straight into our education news and bulletin, and of course, that will be read by our sixth form student at the St. Catherine High School.
For Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, here inside Campus Connection. Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Education and Youth, is encouraging stakeholders to strengthen collaborative efforts and frameworks to ensure the safety and well-being of all children, including those who have gone missing. Mrs. Williams was speaking at the CPFSA's Amanda Alert Conference, strengthening responses to missing children on May 24th at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel in St. Andrew. The minister shared that the goal is to get to the point where we report that no child is missing, but if they are, we find them the same day. She urged Jamaicans to respect the rights of children and provide a nurturing and secure environment for them. She expressed gratitude to the CPFSA for their tireless work in safeguarding the country's most vulnerable children, highlighting the work they do when a child is reported missing, including including collaboration with the National Children's Registry and the Constabulary Communication Network, media houses, and several government agencies. The Amanda Alert Conference aimed to share best practices for responding to missing children across the region. This event coincides with International Missing Children's Day 2024. Education Minister Favour Williams claimed no decision has been made to abolish corporal punishment in the home, just days after Justice Minister Delroy Chuck announced that the government intends to outlaw parental beating. Minister Chuck made a statement on May 22, noting that the government has already done so in schools and plan to make it so in the homes. However, in a statement issued yesterday evening from the Office of the Prime Minister, Williams stated firmly that the cabinet has not decided to ban corporal punishment, adding that the government is committed to sourcing effective solution to the issue of violence in the country. During the budget debate in 2017, the Prime Minister indicated that the government would modify the Education Act to specifically outlaw corporal punishment in schools. However, it has not come to fruition. Successive administrations have been concerned about the political consequences of criminalizing a well known cultural practice that is widely supported by some religious and parental groups. Now, time for the bulletin. The University of Technology Faculty of Education and Liberal Studies presents the fifth International Conference on Education and the Humanities under the theme The New Frontier Trends, Possibilities, and Challenges for Education, the Humanities, and the Social Sciences. On June 4th to the 6th, 2024, at UTech Jamaica Papine campus with keynote speaker Rohan Joala, Senior Instructional Designer at the University of Central Florida, USA. For registration and more information, call 876-927-1680, extension 2414, or email intl.conference.fels@gmail.com. ISCF, in association with Christian Teachers in Action, presents Teachers Conference 2024 under the theme Fortified for the Future on Saturday, June 1, 2024 at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., featuring song, dance, and panel discussion and speakers Donette Norman, President of CTIA, and ISCF Staff Advisor, and Paul Lewis, General Secretary of SCFSU. Admission is free and you can register at bit.ly/teachers CON 2024. Live streaming will be done on YouTube at Christian Teachers. Finally, Passion and Purity JA invites you to their youth summer camp from August 7 to 10, 2024 at the Rockhampton Hotel Manor Park area in Kingston. Cost is $13,850. That's all the news we have for you here inside Campus Connection. I am Oreen Mattis. Have a good evening.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. We see we are, yeah. I want to go on campus.
And my co-host is back with me. Say something to the people over here.
Something. Hello, everyone.
What's going on? What's going on?
It's been a while. It's good to be back on
Yes.
the show. So good to be back.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you? I see you traveling and all over the place.
What
You know, doing the
you?
work of the
Yeah, now
Lord. Love
the
that.
Lord and enjoying it. Certainly enjoying it.
Awesome. 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 All right.
What
Oh yes, we are supposed to mention. Yes,
thing?
yes, Mr. Producer. So the Hard College of Construction Services Wellness Center presents Protect Against the Heart. Against the heat, sorry. Avoid caffeine, alcohol, and sugary drinks. Wear cotton clothing to keep cool. Drink lots of water to keep hydrated. Refresh yourself often with flowers, or even washing your face. Eat lots of vegetables. And fruits, avoid direct exposure to the sun, reduce protein rich foods. Interesting. Wear a cap or a wide brim hat, and of course, walk with your sunscreen. Any other thing?
Yes, the Micah University College
Yes.
wants to announce their scholarships. They have 250 scholarships available for persons
Wow.
to pursue a bachelor's of education in any STEM subject at the Micah University College. So this is funded by the Ministry of Finance. And if you are a fifth and sixth former, parent, educator, whoever you are, you can certainly find out information. They want to invite you to apply because you never know. You really never know. Some of the areas of study include computer science, biology,
Mm-hmm.
chemistry, physics, geography and environmental studies, industrial technology, mathematics, and of course, family and consumer science. So, a bachelor's of education, it will prepare you to any pretty much for anything in the education sector, but it also equips you to work across multiple sectors. So there are scholarships available, guys. So please go and check out the Michael University College to find out more.
Awesome. Also, just some more information on the Interschool Christian Fellowship and Christian Teachers in Action Teachers Conference 2024. So one of the keynote speakers will be Esther Tyson, of course, Mrs. Tyson, past principal
Oh,
of the Arden High School. So listen, you can't afford to miss this event. This event, you cannot afford to miss it. So it's Saturday, June 1, 2024, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the St. Andrew High School for Girls, 10 Cecilia Avenue, Kingston. And of course, as I said, Esther Tyson. I don't need to say anymore. You just need to be there. That's this Saturday. Okay? Cool. Good stuff.
I think it's the
Yeah.
first time I'm hearing Arden mentioned on the show. Like, are you guys
Let's continue with the show, please. Oh boy. All right.
but
So
yes.
we have creative block now, I
Hmm.
believe.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do creative block. Let's go and have a conversation with Miss Terry Joy Stewart, Operations and Projects Manager. She's a dedicated and experienced professional in operations and project management, worked with numerous organizations overseeing the management of various projects. She is passionate about fostering positive growth individuals with a creative spirit and artistic talent in many. Wow, interesting. She truly embodies the term Jill of all. All right, let's get straight into our conversation with.
Welcome.
Oh, there she is. Hello.
Welcome, Miss Stewart.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So what exactly makes you a creative? Because project management, operations, that doesn't sound like very creative. What makes you a creative?
I know, right? Separate and apart from my 9 to 5, I I do have a talent in many different things. As I said, I sing, I dance, all the kinetic things. So sing, dance, draw. I can use my hands to build things. You know, the works.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I'm very passionate where that is concerned. Fashion, design, um,
Wow.
yes, a lot.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
a lot
That's
of
quite interesting.
being able to do a lot of different things, many things all over the place, you know? Yeah.
I love that because when I was reading the script earlier and I was saying operations and project management, I don't really see how this
Work,
work. But
right?
I'm glad that we're showing that you can be creative whilst having a 9 to 5. So you can have a 9 to 5 but still explore your creativity. So that's quite interesting to say the least. I love that. I love that.
Thank you so much.
Um But based because I see on your profile, you're a Jill of all trades, right?
Hmm.
Take us into that a bit. Let's explore that a bit. What does that look like? You being a Jill of all trades.
Well, as I had pointed out earlier, as it relates to from a creative standpoint, So it links with that. So being able to do many different things from from a creative standpoint, from artistic standpoint, but also separate and apart from that, I'm just really good at catching on to things, especially as it relates to
Mm.
things that you work with your hand. So yeah, and that's how I ended up
Wow.
in project management because I love learning. I love just having knowledge about a vast amount of things, and so my career path has taken me around many different places. I was in banking.
Mhm.
So my main degrees in social sciences. I did postgraduate in project management. So yeah, a lot.
Wow.
I've
I
built
am
things with
so
my hands
excited.
before.
What? No.
I can
Okay.
sew with
So
my hands. Yeah.
we do have to go for a break, but when we come back, I really want to hear more about all of these things. So please stay with us. We're talking with Miss Terry Loy Stewart right here on Campus Connection. We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's a one now, yeah. Walk one from campus. How we are carry lot from campus. Come on, tell me walk one. Campus connection, yeah, that's a one. Hey, summer
Get a Samsung A05 from Flow for $8,125 or a Samsung A05s for only $9,000. Both come with a free 28-day unlimited social talk and text plan. Now that's great news. Visit a Flow store today. Available while stocks last. Conditions apply.
the best. Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best. You are number one. Best, best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level. Awesome, that's how we serve. Mama menu done your way. To taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness. You deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King. Best tasting burger under the sun.
As a man living with HIV, a regular day for me, not much different from yours. I have to wake up and go to people and work in the traffic, but then when we reach, we can run some joke with my coworker them. Sometimes we link up after work, or play ball, or just dip on my ends and kick back before we go home. You see how much we have in common? People living with HIV are a part of our community. Make we power, protect, accept, and respect. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
When tape diapers are difficult to change, it's time for Pampers Easy Ups with 360 stretchy waistband. They're easy to put on and take off, keeping their skin dry and protected.
Changes are easy with Easy Ups.
Every Thursday morning, Love 101 shares with you power-packed messages, words of encouragement, and testimonies of God's miraculous power. You get all of that in the Don't Give Up broadcast, brought to you by Celebration Church at the Portmore Skating Ring in the Portmore Mall with Pastor Prophet Michael Carter. Be sure to stay tuned to Love 101 for the Don't Give Up broadcast. Get the word you need to start your day right. The Don't Give Up broadcast, Thursdays at 5:15 a.m. It's on the family station, Love 101.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. I want to go on campus.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. We are so excited. We're talking with Miss Terry Loy Stewart, and she has been telling us about the creative side of her that most people probably don't know. I mean, her 9 to 5 is operations and project management. But when she clocks out from work, guys, I'm telling you, she's a fashion designer, singer, dancer. She said all the kinetic things. So you say it? All the kinetic things. So tell us a little bit more, Miss Stewart, about how you've been able to do project management and incorporate your creativity for the past 3 years.
Okay. Well, where project management is concerned, my current job, operations and project manager at Y Whisper Creative, is a marketing firm. And so I oversee, well, operations, the different deliverables that come in from different clients, marketing related things, digital marketing, brand management, So I would participate in overseeing and reviewing designs that come through from our creatives before we pass it on to the clients to get approval and so on. And so, as my director would say, something like a little dot that I input can make a change. And so, even though my regular 9 to 5 doesn't allow me to be the one that is behind the screen doing all the design, when I do my reviews or the inputs or assist with creating or coming up with concept to allow the designers to then flourish that, put that in spirit on, then, that's where creative.
You're
and
like
project
the
management is got started.
conceptualize, or okay, so you kind of
Yeah.
give them the vision and then they just run with it and create some awesome stuff, basically.
Pretty much.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. But how do you balance that? Because, well, I guess the balance is easier for you based on where you work, because you work in marketing. So it does require some amount of creativity.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that sometimes you probably feel like you just want to burst out in creativity and, focus exclusively on being a creative. So how do you balance, or can you balance being a 9 to 5 and a creative at the same time? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So 2 parts of the personality allows me to be atypical on one side and a creative on one side.
Interesting.
So yes, I know. Some persons who are close to me, we always make fun of things like that, where there's 2 sides, There's the atypical side that has to be neat, has to be clean, everything has to be in its place. And you do have the creative side as well. So when that merge, you're able to balance.
Right.
And so I'm able to, whenever it is that I need to tap into one side, I'm extremely creative. And for example, in the past, during the whole COVID period, there was a time where, trying to develop things and you're thinking about out of the box things that you need to create and stuff like that. But at the same time, your atypical side, your business side, your things that need to work in a set, you have to think about how things work in terms of operations and what will work in terms of out there, and not just from a creative standpoint, like, throwing paint on a canvas. And apparently some people seem to like that though.
This is so fun, because I'm thinking about her being at work and she's getting all of these ideas and she just has to get her notepad and just be like, okay, let me leave that till later. And then address the creative side after 5 o'clock, like about 5:30 thereabout, you start.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
So is there anyone that you would like to acknowledge for just your achievements, just the you being able to balance this kind of lifestyle, your workload? I don't know. Anyone you'd like to acknowledge or thank?
Well, first of all, God, definitely. Generally speaking, and not just my 9 to 5, but from in terms of achievements overall throughout my life, my parents have been a part of that. They've been pretty supportive in the ways that they can. My childhood best friend has always been like, my personal cheerleader. So he's always been the person be like, what are you nervous about? Like, you get this, you got this, and so on. And then my partner, Cleon, he has always been supportive for me whenever I feel like, I think I want to make handbags. And he starts to help me research, and I'll find him researching on his own as well, things about what's this that you need to make handbags and so on. If I want to say, I feel like I want to make some hand jewelry or some cushions or whatever, and he starts to help me put things together. And, when I come up with these ideas, always been there for me and supporting me. And then I have my current marketing CEO of the marketing company, was also was a friend from before, and he's always, saying, I trust you. You got this kind of thing. And of course, you have generally in life persons who, without knowing it, from
Mhm.
their end would see it as something negative, but in turn it was a
Mhm.
positive for you because when persons say, "Oh, you can't do this," or they don't believe in you, or whatever, it's that part of you that wants to prove them wrong,
Mhm.
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
definitely there are no whether it's positive or negative, there are a lot of things that come together that has helped me to believe in myself and being able to do what I do.
Absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. Boy, really wish we had more time to really dive into the
Yes.
complexity of,
Yes,
of all of this.
yes.
But it has been a very interesting conversation, and we're very grateful that you would have taken the time out to stop by and speak with us. And we wish you all the very best, both in the 95 and into possibly the bag making or the pants or the shirt or the earring. The creative side of things. So all the very best for the future.
Thank you so much.
Take
And
care.
thanks again for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Absolutely.
Oh
Well,
boy, I
you
love
just
it. I
heard it.
absolutely love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Miss Terry Loy Stewart. And now we're going to hear from Donique Brown as she shares her testimony on why she chose Christ and why you
Mm-hmm.
should too. So you definitely want to listen in and be blessed.
Hi, I am Donique Brown. I am a first year student studying applied psychology. And my testimony regarding school and how God has come through for me is that in leaving high school, I was not able to go straight into sixth form or go into college or further my education immediately. I had to take almost a year and a half worth of a gap year. And in that time, I was working on self development, learning new skills, and also working to develop myself as a human and, build up my resume as I go through life. And this year, I was finally able to start my university journey with no loans, as God has provided for my parents to be able to pay for my schooling. So I do not have to go through the rigorous process of student loans. And for that, I am just grateful that I have been able to go through college debt free just thus far. I chose God, you should too. I promise you it's worth it.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. We yeah. I want to go on campus. Young people are going on campus.
All right. We're
Listen,
back with more. We're back.
listen.
Um,
Yes, that
good work,
testimony.
Campus Connection. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. It's
That
every
one
every
hit.
week, like clockwork,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
clockwork. We love to hear from you
Listen.
guys, trust me. Believe me when I say we do love to hear from you, especially when you're sharing about the goodness of God. But yeah, we have to take a quick break and then come back with more Campus Connection.
Campus, come on, tell me what one. Campus connection, take a data one down. Hey, I walk one from campus.
When tape diapers are difficult to change, it's time for Pampers Easy Ups with 360 stretchy waistband. They're easy to put on and take off, keeping their skin dry and protected.
Changes are easy with Easy Ups.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
Lark, long-acting reversible contraceptives.
I made my choice 6 years ago. I have an IUCD, also called copper T, and it will go and protect me from pregnancy for another 4 years at least.
My choice was an implant. It lasts for 5 years. And when I'm ready for a baby, I just make doctor take it out. Contact the National Family Planning Board at 9681632 to find out more about the Lark.
Think ahead, make a plan. You got the freedom of choice.
Hot button issues and insights. The latest developments in health. Your questions answered. 30 minutes of talk with Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton and members of the Health and Wellness team, discussing solutions to your burning questions, hearing your views and concerns. Every Friday at 11 a.m. on Love 101. You've got questions? Then call in for answers. That's On the Pulse with Public Health. Fridays at 11 a.m. right here on the Family Station. Love 101.
Hashtag I love. You know it's your boy Kareem and I love ILS is coming.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. We I want to go on campus. Young people are going.
All right, welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just joining us, we are so very grateful that you would have taken the time out to, listen to us. I don't know why you guys listen to us, but you do. And we are so grateful,
You don't know what happened?
Well, I know why. But yeah, I'm so grateful that you listen to us and you watch us. People are in tune with what's going on inside Campus Connection, and we're so grateful for that. And we want to continue the conversation as we go into this next segment of the show, as we talk about conflict resolution, right? Very, very, very important based on what has been happening in today's society, especially amongst our campus sites. And the question we want to ask is, what can schools do to ensure that persons manage conflict resolution effectively? That's super, super, super important. I'd asked Anesta if she has ever experienced conflicts on campus, but I doubt that strongly. So I will just move on.
What on
I'll
earth?
just move on. I'm sure you were the prefect that was keeping things in check, right? So I'll just leave
I
that
mean, I
alone.
never caused the conflict, but I've
Oh, but
experienced
conflicts
it
came to
on
you.
my
Wow. Wow. I mean,
No,
I
coming
mean,
up on the show, guys, we have Mrs. Tisha Nelson
oh
Watson.
boy.
I'm just going to completely ignore Jonathan, an SCFSU Western Region Field Officer. She'll be joining us. We also have Miss Mishka Bowen from the Mount Alvernia High School for Girls. And we have Mrs. Dorian Allen Rainford, the JTA President elect candidate for 2024 to 2025. And they're here to discuss this topic with us of conflict resolution. We certainly are excited. We're happy that you all could make it on. Good evening and welcome to Campus Connection.
All right.
Good evening. Then, are you hearing me? Good evening.
Yeah, man, we're hearing you. We're hearing you. Thank you so much for making it Campus Connection this evening. So we're talking about a big topic, right, this evening, and a very serious one, if you will, based on what we see happening in today's society. I just want to read this excerpt from the conflict expert. And it says, I remember seeing a good friend of mine on the other side of the street. I waved enthusiastically at her, but couldn't cross over because of the traffic. She didn't stop and carried on. I felt rejected and hurt, but I didn't ask her about it. When I saw her again a week later, she acted as though nothing had happened. In fact, it hadn't. When she passed me in the street, she just had an argument with a woman in a shop and was trying hard not to cry. She just hadn't seen me. My perception of conflict dissolved. Wow. Big. Big.
So instantly as you read that, Jonathan, I'm thinking a lot of conflicts start from misunderstandings, miscommunication. And I'm so glad we have some communication experts on the panel with us that can really help us to get to the bottom of why is there so much conflict in our schools? What is causing it? Let me start with Miss Rainford. What's really happening?
All right. So, good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me. Conflict is a part of life. So disagreements must happen. It will happen. So let me just emphasize that first of all. All right. It's
All
a
right.
natural occurrence. All right.
Yes.
Now, there are many reasons why we have conflict on the school compound. We have conflict between students, and some of the reasons include the fact that there are interpersonal differences. So nobody has the same personality. And because nobody has the same personality, then disagreements will happen because nobody's a clone of the next person. And so we have interpersonal relationships, and there are disagreements. And some of the things that cause some of these interpersonal disagreements include the fact that persons are competitive. And because they are competitive, they want to do well. And so this child is doing well and you are not doing well. And so right there and then, there is a conflict, believe it or not. Because, you know, there is an attainment and an achievement, and one person is achieving, the next feel as if he or she is not achieving or at the level of the next person. And so without you knowing it, there is a conflict. There's a conflict because of bullying. And we see the violence in schools.
Yes.
It is right all over social media, all over the internet, all over the television, everywhere in the space. We have a lot of bullying, we have a lot of violence, and there are a lot of fights, and so because some of these students are unable to resolve their disagreement, and so what do? Instead of talking it out, they fight it out. And so we are at a time and we are at a point where there's a lot of violence. And so there is the need for resolving conflicts amicably without fighting, talking it out, listening to each other, right? And realize that, yes, we can resolve without actually being at each other's throat. And so competition causes conflict, bullying each other, fights cause conflict. And of course, you know that you doing well, the next person not doing well. And so right there and then, there's a conflict. And of course, one child is more popular than the next. That's a conflict.
Yes.
Not. You understand? One child is not only more popular, but the social status. One child has more money, the next person don't have enough money. So you feel as if you don't belong, and you want a self of belonging. And so there are several reasons that lead to conflict. And so, next, when you ask me, we could look at some ways of resolving some of these conflicts. And of course, adults do have conflict. We have conflict. Adults, we have conflict, and the teacher, but most of the times the conflicts tend to arise between the students.
Yes. Thank you so much. Mishka, from your point of view as a student, what are some of the issues or the main issues that you see on a daily on campus amongst your peers?
As Ms. Rainford mentioned earlier, you have academic pressure. So at my school, we are one of the top schools in the West. So there's a lot of pressure to be the best you can be. And sometimes this can result in a lot of conflict. And also you have bullying and harassment. Some people come from that background, so there are socio-economic differences. So there are various factors, but those are some of the most prevalent factors that contribute to conflict at my school.
Okay. And what would we say are some of the solutions that we can bring to help resolve conflict? Let me pose that question to Ms. Watson. Give us some solutions. How can we resolve conflict?
Good evening, everyone. While I was listening to the others, I was saying to myself, we are highlighting the negatives. And I'm glad that you made you posed that question, because the truth is that we have been teaching conflict resolution in the school curriculum. I'm speaking as a teacher, as a guidance counselor. We have so many different avenues. Recently, they have restorative justice. They have justice of the peace, pastors, ministers. When you look into our environment or country, you know, we tend to have the solution, but we don't have the solution. So we have the churches, we have the police officers, we have all these nice strategies, nice plans, but yet crime and violence, conflict, negative conflict is actually on the increase. And my first way of my first recommendation is that when people know who they are, you know, that is one of the main things. When they understand that we are all created by God and God has given us a purpose, God loves us, God wants us to take care of ourselves and to take care of others. You see, self-respect, self-awareness, self-confidence, those are where we really need to start. And when we talk about starting there, we are also looking on our parenting. And that is where the solution needs to start from. You know, so all these communities that we have, we need to go into them, the police officers, the guidance counselors, the pastors, the justice of the peace, go into the communities and teach parents how to parent their children the best way. Because guess what? The children are learning from what they see. So they come to school and church and they're teaching them, telling them the right thing. But when they go home, box up somebody, kick up somebody, and all of these things. So when they come to school, they hear what the teacher say, you know, but guess what? It's a different thing. It's a different thing at home. You understand? So children will always, or youths will always, they look on the movies what them watch. Peer karate and gun and all these other negative, listen to the music that they listen to. So when all these other influences are there, it's a fight for them, it's a struggle. And that is the reason why we need to get to the root. And the root is their identity. Who are they? Why are they here? They need to know that they have a purpose, a God-given purpose. God loves them, God values them. And when they know who they are, then they will know how to treat others. They will respect self. They will value life and stop taking life like they can give life. You understand?
Yes.
So when they have that level of character, when they know the word of God, when they know who is God, the creator who made them, trust me, all the other solution will fall into place. But that is the foundation. We need to build strong foundation in our families, in our communities, and then
to start from the family.
Exactly, because remember, you know, we always say it, actions speak louder than words, right?
Yes.
So if we start to put these things when adults, families especially, because you have families fighting against families now. These are the things that we are facing, right? So when we as adults start to apologize, learn to forgive. When I was thinking about this topic, I thought about Joseph and his brothers. And I'm saying to myself, look how he dealt with these different conflicts that came at him. You know, why can't we try to practice these things in our environment? So trust me, my first recommendation is starting with God and the word of God, applying it in our life. Don't just talk it, live it, practice it. Be doers of the word and not doers only.
All right, love that, and I'm hearing the passion coming out from all of our guests actually, and I'm really loving that we have people in Jamaica who are very concerned, and who are willing to implement the different strategies to really mitigate conflict or to enhance conflict resolution in our society. But with that said, we have to take a quick break, but you want to stay with us after these messages.
What is a budget? A budget is an estimate of total income and expenses over a period of time, such as a month or a week. You should review your budget often. You can make a budget for any project, business, or financial goal that you may have. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Ready for your City and Guilds exams? Email us at jamaica@cityandguilds.com or call 876-924-7804 for free practice materials. Math exam Monday, June 3. English on Thursday, June 6. And customer service Friday, June 7. All at 1 p.m. City and Guilds, your passport to the world.
ILS is coming. I'm Deidre Parchment, and I love summer. I love summer.
Okay, where are the campus heights? Students are strap up in a price. We see I want to go on campus. Young people are going hard on campus. Come on, tell me back.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. We're so excited that you have stayed with us throughout the show. We are talking about conflict resolution, and we're certainly appreciative of our guests who are joining us on the panel for this discussion. We're with Mrs. Tisha Nelson Watson, an SCFSU Western Region Field Officer, and Miss Mishka Bowen from the Mount Alvernia High School for Girls, and Mrs. Dorian Allen Rainford, the JTA President-elect candidate for the upcoming year. And so before the break, we did try to get to the bottom of conflict resolution. And I certainly want to ask let me pose this question to Mrs. Rainford. What advice would you give to teachers, parents, guardians as to how to handle students who are caught up in regular conflicts? So, some students might be more problematic than others. What advice would you give to our teachers, to our parents and guardians?
All right. So, as you mentioned, there are students who will be more prone to be in trouble or to be involved in conflict situations than others. My advice to parents, to teachers, and to guardians is that, first of all, we must listen. We have to actively listen to the problem, what the problem is. And so we have to deal with the root causes and not so much the symptoms. There are students who are always acting out, and there is a root cause. There is something that is happening in that child's life that causes that child to always act out and to behave a certain way. And so there is the need to get down, get beyond the symptoms, get beyond what we are seeing and see what is actually causing that child to behave that way. And so when we look at the root cause, when we start to target those root and to deal with those root causes, then the situation will get better. The fact of the matter is, we have to listen to the child and to the students. All right. The parents, there are times that we are guilty of. Teachers, we're talking, the parent talking, the guardian talking, and the child, we don't allow the child to speak up. So we have to find out what is causing this situation. There may be a case where you have to speak in addition to listening to the child. Then there may be support persons that must be called in to deal with the situation. So the guidance counselor may be called in. There may be a social worker that must be called in because there is something that is wrong that is causing this child to be at all times in conflicting situations. And so this is how the child acting out. And the child may be crying out for help. And we don't realize that this is what is happening because this child is going through some things and the child needs help. And this is his or her way of saying that, listen, I need help. And so when we get to the root cause, when we go beyond the symptoms, beyond what is happening, and we address root causes, then we can effectively deal with the conflict. The child must be given a chance to speak.
and we must
Absolutely.
listen. We must listen, and too
Yes.
many times we do not listen. And so actively involving in terms of, and also in listening to the child, you also get his or her input as to how can we resolve, what do you think that can be done to help, to
Yes.
assist, to come to a solution, to solve the problem. Get the input of the child. So many times
Yes.
we don't do it that way, and so the conflict continue, the child continue to act out. But once we pull that child aside, and we can get the child to really just open up, to talk,
Absolutely.
and we hear the things that are not being said, and so
Yes.
we have to listen to some of the screams that going on, the cries that going on. They are not the body, the sign language, the facial expression.
Yes, absolutely.
Must
Very
be taken.
important. Absolutely. In full agreement there. Thank you so much. Mishka, based on we're kind of running out of time, so we want to ensure that we really get to what we actually want to get to. So, Mishka, as a student, again, from your perspective, based on what you've experienced on campus, taking into consideration what our other guests have said, what Mrs. Rainford and Mrs. Watson would have stated from a student standpoint, because we want to really get it from your angle as a campus site. How important is it for all the stakeholders, so the teachers, parents, all the persons you can think of in society? How important is it for them to understand the importance of conflict resolution, as relates to how you guys would be able to mimic then what, because they say children live what they learn. So how important is it for adults to be model citizens in the society, for you guys to really understand the importance of conflict resolution?
Okay, I believe it is very important because children practice what they see at home, and you cannot be
Yeah.
preaching one thing and doing otherwise. And I believe that even at school, at my school, we have after school clubs and teachers with every club. And sometimes Mrs. Tisha Watson comes to our school and helps us to develop ourselves. And I think it's very beneficial because a lot of troubled students who have come into ISCF, it is like a safe space for them now, and they have been doing so much better. They fight less, argue less, and they encourage others who are given trouble to come to ISCF as well. So that just shows the impact that an adult's perspective or supervision will have on children, and it shows that more people in Jamaica need to try and be like this and to guide the children, because most times children don't tell adults everything. Most times what you see is not what you get, because you just see a rude child on the outside, but on the inside they could be going through numerous things, because growing up in school now is very difficult. You have a lot of standards to meet, and it's very hard for some people. So I just think the adults should try to listen, supervise as best as possible, and guide your child along the way. Be with your child and not against your child.
Thank you so much for that, Mishka. Miss Watson, we do have a few more minutes, and I just wanted to find out from you. You mentioned that you've been a guidance counselor, and I wanted to know, how do you see us creating those supportive environments for our teachers and students? What role does that play in conflict resolution?
So the first thing is that we have to meet people where they're at. We want them to come to the churches. We want them to come to the schools, such as the parents. You want them to come to school. You want everybody to come to you. But so oftentimes we're not going to them where they are at. On the road, in the gully, in the bar. We need to meet people where they're at and reach out to them practically, in the sense of you are able to communicate with them at their level, so that they will feel accepted and know that their voice matters, and they matter, they are significant. So once we're able to unite and develop strategies where we can say, because one shoe don't fit all. So we have to basically put programs that are more effective as it relates to communication. I made mention of parenting. I was exposed to the parenting children course and the parenting teenager courses. And these are courses that have been helping me, even a mother of 5 children. And when we
what you said,
yes, when we put these
wow,
when we put these things in practice, it actually helps to minimize the high level of tension and anxiety. Miss Rainford was talking earlier on, and I wanted to reinforce the point that when we are not able to identify the need, the root cause of the problem, then we just put Band-Aid on it and think that it will get better. And the other day I was at a teachers retreat, and I shared with the teachers that hurt people, and people heal people. And this is important, because if we are bitter, angry, then of course when we go to school to teach, we don't meant to do it, but it end up happening. You understand what I'm saying? And then that energy is there. The environment, the school environment is not a place where people want to go to. When you look on what's happening in our schools, the boys, the high school boys, they wait until school devotion time finish, they go on campus. Why?
Yeah.
You understand me? Some of them don't go to classes. Why? Especially when they know they have certain teachers. Why? You understand what I'm trying to say? And this coming Saturday, we're actually going to be having a teachers conference in Kingston at the St. Andrew High School for girls. And we are inviting teachers across Jamaica to be at that event, because we're planning to have speakers, songs, dance, panel discussion. Because when we see what is happening in our country, we can't just keep quiet about it. We need to come together. We need to unite and do something positive. And over the weekend, just to answer your question, over the weekend, I was at a training in Kingston where the Caribbean Sports and Leadership Development is actually equipping people who are interested to use sports. And
yes.
Because these are part of the solution. Or young people get involved in sports and other activities. So instead of having them fighting it out, let them use the energy to exercise and to participate in positive activities. So
thank you very much.
These are also a solution.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Watson. We have to stop right there. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but we really do appreciate all of you. I learned a lot from this conversation, and I'm very enlightened based on everything that we would have shared in this conversation. So thank you very much, ladies, and all the very best for the future.
All right.
Thank you again.
Very much. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All right.
So
Take care.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Conflict resolution. Clearly, we need to talk about this more often to really get into the meat of the matter concerning this topic. But next week, you surely want to join us for Student Burnout. That's June 4. And then after that, we have our pre-Father's Day show on June 11. Special thanks, of course, to all our team members who continue to work in the background. Dr. Nadine Blair, Jermaine Johnson, Daniel Downs, Shania Smith, David Sutton, and Latifa Reed, Raquel Robertson, and Ruth Lawrence. And of course, to our amazing guests, thank you so much for making the campus connection. That's it for our show this week. We will see you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. I am Jonathan Fletcher.
And I'm Anesta Samuels. We'll see you next week.